Welcome back. We're talking about recognition. It's important. It helps people feel valued. And as a leader, it helps you indicate to your team what you want to see more of. Recognition can't and shouldn't always be about money. So we're spending 31 days offering up ideas and suggestions. Some of them take no money at all. Some take a little time. Some take money and time. You can check out last week's video for the suggestions 1 through 8. And we're going to pick up this week with number 9, VIP treatment at a company event. Your C-suite, your special customers, they're the ones who get escorts, swag bags, prime seats, maybe prime spots on stage at your company events. Have you ever considered trying to do something similar for your team members who've really merited some standout recognition? Give it a shot. If your company event is maybe too big or too mission critical to allow that sort of flexibility, look for other ways that you might be able to do something similar. For example, you might have an offsite QBR where everybody gets together. In that QBR, you may have more power about being able to give people a little bit of extra VIP treatment. If your team doesn't get together very often, or you don't have authority over some of those events, look at things like their travel schedule. Maybe you can get them an upgrade or a limo or something special that helps them feel a little bit more recognized when they travel. Number 10 is a virtual background. Very simple. It's something that we see all the time. Most people either blur their backgrounds, or we wish they did, or they may have a standard sort of photographic image. Some companies actually have branded logos that they ask all the employees to use when they're on virtual meetings. So if your company has a lot of virtual meetings or a lot of remote employees, this is a great way to show recognition. Pick a reason. Remember, we want people to know why we're recognizing them. So pick a reason and design a background that helps people know what they're being recognized for and helps share that message simply because they have it on behind them while they're talking to other people in the company or clients, etc. Okay, number 11, treat them. Treat them with dignity. Sounds obvious. Doesn't always happen though. It's occasionally a miss because we forget in the daily grind that we need to pause and actually notice people for who they are and for what they're going through in that moment. We want to treat people like a human being who deserves your attention. That means lifting your eyes from your phone when you talk to them, maybe even putting it down. Oh my. Or if you're in a regular meeting with them and you like to type your notes, make sure that you pause, pull your hands off the keyboard, actually engage with them with eye contact, and show them that you're paying attention. Talk to them about work, for sure, but also talk to them about themselves, their life, what brings them joy and meaning. We think that we do this more than we actually do. You need to pause and notice and ask yourself, what do you really know about your colleagues, your coworkers, your team members? Consider, when is the last time you had a real conversation with somebody at work that wasn't about work? You're also likely to find that younger generations have a little bit more difficulty with this. There's an entire group of folks who don't really know how to engage with people in a social setting. They're used to being on their phones while they're hanging out with their friends. So keep that in mind. Direct eye contact and direct conversation may be uncomfortable for some individuals. It can also be true based on culture or environment. So you may have team members that you engage with globally who will also struggle with this. So if you've got global team members, you may want to take a moment to learn what are the ways that they prefer to engage with each other. But deep down, know that every single one of us, we're looking to be seen and valued. Number 12, use your influence and your goodwill to set up a meeting. Set up a meeting on their behalf. Get them an introduction and a coffee, or maybe even a lunch. It might just be a virtual meeting or an in-person meeting. But if you know somebody that can make a difference to the individual that you're trying to recognize, go out of your way to try to get them an introduction and get them to meet. Now, who that person is going to vary based on the individual that you recognize and what they're really interested in and curious about. It won't always be the same person. Yes, frequently there is a senior executive in the company who's very charismatic and people want to meet them. They want their attention. So if you have the opportunity to do that and it's meaningful, make that connection. And also look around at the other types of people that could be meaningful. Maybe your best instructor or sales rep would love a meeting with your top product engineer to find out more about what's actually going to happen behind the scenes in the next product release. Or in my case, for example, I had a sales rep who was curious about marketing and how it worked. So I set up a meeting with the chief marketing officer of our division so that they could get to know each other and learn a little bit more. Look for opportunities where you can introduce someone and help make a difference in their perspective, their life, their knowledge, and their career growth. Number 13, exempt them. Exempt them from something. Every once in a while, it may not be ongoing, but every once in a while, let them out, off the hook, release them. So maybe there's a meeting, maybe there's a regular report. If you can find things that really tend to annoy or seem like a hassle, let them off the hook as a sign of recognition for a behavior, a mindset, a contribution that they've offered to the company that makes a difference. Number 14, also, gift them time off. It's similar to exempting them. You exempt them from having to be at work. So, if you're able to grant people a little bit of time, it often feels luxurious. Maybe you give them a late start to their shift or an early departure on a particular day. Maybe you can afford to give them the whole day or week off. That's awesome. If money and time don't allow for it, you might consider giving them an hour back. Maybe there's a meeting each week that they could miss and dedicate their time to refocus on something on their agenda and task list that's more important to them. Those are meaningful ways to help people have a little bit of time back in their schedule. If you've got the budgets, consider granting them a sabbatical, a planned time when they are away from the company and work, still receiving pay and benefits, but really giving them acknowledgement for time in the company or special achievements or an outcome that was important and that they helped achieve. The last one for this week, number 15, buy pizza. It's controversial, but hear me out. Too often, pizza and cheap lunches are a substitute that companies use to avoid real compensation and recognition. I get it. And as with all of these items, paying a fair living wage and looking for ways to recognize people monetarily is important. We want you to have a culture that appreciates people in a variety of ways. But this particular one, buying pizza, is based on an older article I read that was about a book by Dan Ariely called Payoff: The Hidden Logic That Shapes Our Motivations. And the article was essentially summarizing that Dan did a study where employees were offered one of three outcomes. They could get a cash bonus, they would get a sincere compliment, or they would get pizza in direct response to their productivity for a given day. Now, most people will say that they want the cash bonus. You'll find that to be true. Often, extrinsic motivators are the ones that are picked. But the study actually produced different results. It showed, in fact, that those workers who received sincere compliments and appreciation for their work had higher productivity, not just that day, but in the weeks to come. That was closely followed by those who received pizza. And in the last category, money. Those who received a cash bonus actually performed less well in productivity that day and in weeks to come. That is one study, but there are lots of other researchers who've proven the same to be true. Gratitude is a motivator. And if you've been around Boss at the Helm for any amount of time, you'll know that we constantly are saying praise people, praise them in many different formats as often as you can, and do it even when they aren't in the room. And in this case, follow that closely up with pizza. It boils down to the idea that money is important, but it's often given more weight than what we truly value, being appreciated and noticed. Intrinsic motivation means more to most people. So give it a shot. We've got more ideas coming up, and we'd love to hear from you. What's sparking creative ideas? What other suggestions might you have? Share it with us. We want more people feeling appreciated, valued, seen, and heard. Spread this joy. We'd also love it if you'd like and subscribe. Show up here at Boss at the Helm on YouTube every Friday for more mini but mighty leadership lessons. We've got new episodes every Friday, or you can check out some of our prior videos because there's a lot to learn. Be a boss, use your power for the good of yourself and those around you.